Imagine, if you will, your own demise. What would that look like?
I wonder what Hector was doing when he was our age.
Probably something cool.
1800s.
What was there to do in the 1800s?
I don't know. That was before the world was in color, man. Everything was in black and white back then.
No cameras back then? I don't know what I would have done.
Maybe they went on walks and enjoyed the world around them instead of watching TV like we have. TV's great.
Yeah. TV is great.
I'm Grant, filmmaker, explorer, and full-time question asker. And this is Eduardo, my ride or die. He doesn't say too much, but he sees everything, especially the strange stuff most people overlook. We're hitting America's back roads in search of the people who live and work alongside death. Not for the shock value, but to highlight and understand the unusual and to see what life looks like when you stop running from the end of it.
I'm a little bit of sweat, I'm stuck on the freeway. And all the sons of bitches are doing it sideways. Remember your heart, remember your soul. Never let them stick you down into the hole. I wanna get high again, see the light in your eyes again. And with everyone, never let them stick you down into the hole.
Time to put the fun in funeral, am I right?
I guess so.
Yeah. When was the last time you went to a funeral?
Probably like when I was like 9, probably. It was in Mexico.
Yeah, what was that like?
Well, if I remember correctly, it was my grandma's. I mean, it was cool. Like, I don't want to say it was cool. No, it was not cool. It was different, like a happier kind of deal.
Celebration of life.
Yeah, kind of.
How do you want to be like memorialized or like buried or cremated or sent out on a boat like a Viking to Valhalla?
You know, as weird as it may seem, I've thought about this a lot actually. I think I want to be cremated.
Cremated?
Yeah.
Any reason why?
Nah, I mean, like, I don't want to be kept though, like in a little jar. Sorry, I didn't mean to get all dark on you.
Yeah, that's alright. Here we embrace the darkness and we head face first. No. Alright, Eduardo. Today, we're gonna take a little drive along the dark side. We're gonna meet up with a end-of-life doula, and then a casket maker and funeral home director. First stop, time to meet the woman who helps people walk to the other side.
I don't know about you, but I'm walking in the other direction.
Alright, so we are pulling up to our first stop, the Death Doula.
How you feeling?
Pretty good. About to go to Doula Schoola.
Yes.
Alright.
Today we are headed to go talk to a death doula. She's somebody that talks to people right before they die. Oh, it's sad because it is talking about death, right? And although death shouldn't be perceived as something that's so sad, it's kind of hard not to. It makes me think about what I want to do with my life before I die. So I'm getting to experience that without actually experiencing it, you know?
Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
Good, how are
Good,
you?
how are you?
My name is Grant.
Hi.
Nice to meet you.
I'm Eduardo. Nice to meet you.
Hey, come on in.
I can't say I'm nervous, but I'm interested.
Thank you for doing this.
Yeah. Well, thank
for
you
having us.
for having us, yeah. So we're doing a kind of like road trip across the US to interview people who work closely with death to destigmatize the fear behind it. So if you could give us a quick introduction as to who you are and what your job is.
My name is Hera Carmen. I am a death doula, also known as end-of-life doula or end-of-life planner. Although we focus on the death and dying part, many times my clients are maybe perfectly well when they start talking about death and dying activities. There are a myriad of things that I can do for a person before they even have a terminal diagnosis. The reason I became a death doula is I went in for a routine surgery. It went sideways. It was terrible because my husband literally got to see what they were doing with the womb vac and could see inside to my internal organs.
Wow.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
considering this was supposed to be a non-invasive surgery, and you know, they have you fill out the paperwork and say, well, this could happen, that could happen, but you never think it's going to happen
Yeah.
to you.
Yeah.
At that point, I realized that there were things worse than death. As a person is dying, you just watch them kind of evaporate. Everything that you know about that person, by the end, they're not that person anymore. They're almost childlike. And hospice is not a death sentence. People can get off hospice. People can stay in hospice for years. But as of the statistics that I know, the average days on hospice is 17 days.
Oh, wow.
Because death is so intensely personal. You can ask me, what is the experience like? And I will have to say, well, your mileage may vary. Because your experience is going to be different than his experience. It's going to be different than my experience because we're all walking a different path. It's your party, not mine.
Yeah. Working with all these people and helping them along their traveling path, has your perspective on death changed or been affected? Or has your perspective on life changed or been affected?
Yes, my perspective on life has changed. So my view of life is we don't value it enough. My perspective has certainly evolved after especially sitting bedside vigil with a client and knowing that your moments are intensely precious and you should guard every moment of it.
And so working with your clients, and obviously it's probably not always the most fun work to do, is there anything that you do to kind of separate yourself from the work or to like cope or to just protect your own mental health?
I want to correct you there. I have a heck of a lot of fun with people that are dying if they're up to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, the dementia unit that I'm with,
Mm-hmm.
we played whack-a-mole the other day, and I was a mole, and asked them to hit me with pool noodles.
Oh my gosh, that sounds like a great time.
Yeah, it was a great time, but I think that hobbies are a way of disconnecting from that.
Mm-hmm.
And let me show you. I cosplay.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, I do cosplay, but we also do stuff like this.
Oh, wow. You 3D print?
Yes, this is all 3D printed.
Oh, man.
I also am into fiber craft, so I embroider, and I can do that often at the bedside
Mm-hmm.
with somebody.
Oh, those are beautiful.
Really cool.
I love cosplay, very much geeks.
Okay.
Yeah.
I got two right here.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think everybody should just lean into what they're passionate about
Mm-hmm.
because that's what makes life worth living.
Yeah. I really agree with that, actually.
Examining your mortality, it becomes really clear what is important and what isn't important.
Mm.
That's why I do what I do. I want people to start thinking about their mortality early so you can start living your best life now.
That's solid advice.
I do like to think. Oh, I don't want to say that I think about death a lot, but it's definitely like something that's constant in my mind, knowing that one day I will die. but I just wanna do what I wanna do.
Eat your fucking cake now.
Yeah, I mean, I wanna be happy doing what I do, so I don't see a reason to not do it.
Right. Absolutely. Even if it scares you.
Yeah, exactly. I think that makes it more fun if it scares you.
So I want to give a scenario here of each of you have been given a terminal diagnosis.
Okay.
Maybe you want to consult. We'll do an initial consult.
Okay.
And I happen to have some questions that I might bring up, and we'll just see what comes out of it.
All right, yeah.
Game for that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I do think her job is really important because it's something that most people don't want to think about, and she kind of just slaps you in the face and like makes you think about it.
Okay.
Let's imagine you've been given a diagnosis of ALS.
Okay.
And you have less than 6 months to live. How do you feel about that?
Well, it sucks, you know?
So let me ask you a question. What must you do to go with grace?
I don't know, there's a lot, but I think I just travel a little bit. I mean, I don't know. That might sound selfish saying that I want to go somewhere by myself, but
Why would it be selfish?
well, because it's like, you know, I spend so much time already like doing things alone. Why not spend it with someone else, you know?
There's no right or wrong answer. That's entirely how you feel. And if anybody tells you that's selfish, then in my opinion, they're kind of being selfish because you're the one who is dying.
Yeah, well, I think I just like split it up maybe into like weeks. You know, a week with the family, a week with the friends, a week with traveling.
Say the time gets closer. What would your death look like?
Honestly, I mean, dying at the hospital would be like it's kind of like gloomy there, but a lot of people die there.
Now, would you want to be surrounded by family? Are you okay dying alone? Or what are you thinking? Yeah.
When I'm already at the hospital, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you know, it's getting real close. The days are coming down. I guess I'd want to have my family there, but not actually like when I'm going out, you know, just there for a day. And
You
then,
want him to visit you.
yeah, and then like friends as well, but maybe at separate times, just so we can all conversate in peace, you know. And then like if when I'm actually going out, you know, maybe like some music would be nice.
What kind of music?
I'm gonna just say I'm gonna make a playlist, and then we'll leave it at that.
Okay, yeah. So, how do you want people to remember you?
I want to be remembered by like stuff I made, cause I like taking photos and video. Well, I think that week that I traveled, I would probably try to make my best pieces, and I would title it "The Last Week" by myself, not knowing that it's actually the last week, but that's just
That's
the title.
true. Because say it's ALS, and ALS basically affects your muscles. And so it kind of eats at you little by little. First, you wouldn't be able to walk without a cane. Then you wouldn't be able to walk without a walker. Then you would have to be confined to a wheelchair. Then you'd be confined to a bed. And then eventually you would have to have a breathing and feeding tube. And even then, your muscles just stop working for you.
You probably want to take that trip early, huh?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
What makes life worth living for you?
Oh, I think for me, what's made it worth living is my family and like the meaningful relationships I've had, and then also the experiences that I get from life. Like I just love to go out and do things and to say that I've like done it all, you know?
When would life not be worth living?
If I was stuck in like the same routine, never went out and did anything, like just away. If my mind is still here, I'd still want to be here.
Even if you were locked into a wheelchair.
If I was locked into a wheelchair, I mean, that's fine. I'm sure I could get my sister to push me around for a bit.
So, imagine, if you will, your own demise. What would that look like?
I feel like there's like two answers here. I'll say the ridiculous one first. Is I think I'd want to go out doing something like awesome. Like, I don't know, like a bucket list kind of thing, like skydiving or something. I mean, I've moved around a bunch as a kid, so I don't really have like a particular like home, I'd say, or like a place that I'm attached to, but I would just, home is where the heart is, right? I mean, so it's just family and friends, as long as I'm around them, or like they're able to see me. I've slept on many beds, it doesn't really matter.
Okay.
Matter where.
Towards the end, you can hear things. They say that hearing
goes
is
last, yeah.
Yes. So, what do you want to hear?
Well, oh gosh, this is kind of sad. I think ideally, it would be nice to like, oh goodness, it would be nice to hear like family in the other room, you know? And just to know that they're around. I wasn't expecting this.
It's okay. Do you want them to be in the room with you?
Yeah, it would be nice.
Holding your hand?
Yeah, actually, I had a family member kind of recently, and I just remember going in and holding their hand, and it's like they couldn't do much, but it's like I felt a little squeeze, and it was nice. Yeah.
What do you want to happen to your body once you pass?
I think it'd be nice to have some just like physical memorial. Yeah.
Are you aware of green burial practices?
Is that like where they make you into a tree or something?
There are many different ways. There is body composting.
Mm.
Body composting literally turns you into mulch.
Oh wow.
Yes.
That's something.
You could become fertilizer for a garden to feed your family afterwards. There is aquamation, which is a greener practice than cremation.
Mm-hmm. What's the aqua part of it?
You're reduced by water. It's kind of like a water bath.
Oh, so it's just like swishing you around.
It turns you into something neutral.
I had
And
no idea that even existed. I'd never even heard of that before.
yes, aquamation.
I'd never even thought much on how what I want to be after I'm gone, because you know, right now I don't want to be mulch in a garden, but who knows, maybe my answer would change in 20 years or something like that. I come from a family of people who don't really cry much, and so I think genuinely reflecting on my mortality there and just what I want the end of my life to be, it got very, very deep, much deeper than I expected, and I think it was incredibly meaningful and eye-opening.
The bottom line is live while you're alive.
Yes,
Thank
well,
you.
thank you so much again.
Thank you. Thank you.
So that was super cool, and we're headed on to meet our casket maker and funeral home director.
I don't know what you're talking about. I die in 6 months. I'm out of here.
My name is Grant, and this is Eduardo, and we are doing a documentary series on just odd and end jobs that deal closely with death.
Okay.
What drew you guys to the businesses that you work in? You know, this is
He drew me to it a long time ago. He's been in it his whole life.
My pastor was in the business, and I worked for him at the funeral home. At 16, they put me on payroll. And my mother picked me up at school that day. I went and got my driver's license, went home, put my suit on. And she said, "Where are you going?" And I said, "Going to the funeral home." She said, "Shane, are you really going to do this?" And I said, "Yes." When I was 20, I was offered a job as a forensic investigator for Nashville, Tennessee. Worked 7 years until I bought the funeral home. So after working for so many years in forensics, you know, you see the worst of the worst every day of your life. I wanted something more comforting, and instead of seeing, you know, homicides, suicides, car wrecks every day. So I came back to the funeral business.
So working this job at such a young age, is there anything that like specifically called to you? Was it weird being a 16-year-old working around dead bodies? Did it attract a lot of attention? Did it make you feel any sort of way?
No, there's a lot of people that seek the gore of some things that we see, and that's never attracted my attention. I've always been more family oriented. I wanted to be there and help the family.
I'm the box guy. Like, I can just do the body. I can't do the bodies, and I'm completely out on that. That part's not for me at all. Like, I'm not on the death side. I'm more of the family, help the family, beat the funeral home guy now. That's my main goal.
So, touching more on that, just about like helping people find comfort after someone has passed. How do you approach that when someone is grieving?
I said again, I was thinking about something else. I'm sorry.
Ain't no damn
My
death.
mind was not here. Over the 30 some years that I've been in the funeral business, grief has changed. People do not grieve the way that they used to.
Yeah.
People do not celebrate death or give death the attention that they once did.
Very insensitive now.
It is very much more insensitive than it was. Very much.
How would you describe it 30 years ago?
When I started at 16 years old, we would have visitation that would start at 10 in the morning and go to 10 at night. Let's say Monday visitation 10 to 10, Tuesday visitation 10 to 10, and then have funeral Wednesday at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. So it was a 3-day event. Well, then we went to 2 days. And now, today, we're at 1 day.
And that's a lot of the cost of it too. I think it has to do with money now, and it's just not life accelerated like it used to be. I don't think.
So that's why I don't think it's a financial thing.
Yeah.
I think that it is, let's hurry up, get this done, and get back to work.
And these, I think, are part of the problem too.
Yeah.
I think these, once they make their little post about granddaddy passing, and they get all the attention they get on that, and that fades out, then it's over. Like then.
Yeah.
And today, the only time families really have family reunions are right here.
Yeah.
Family reunions are held at the funeral home
Yep.
every 10 years.
And friendship reunions too. Like, I mean, I've given caskets to friends, like parent dads of friends of mine, and you see all your friends come together.
Will you give me a casket if I die?
Yeah, absolutely. Your choice. For free. I don't look at it as a death. Mine are boxes to me, and most of the people that go in them, I don't even know. So, and that's what I've been used to. Like, he knows his families and sits down at that table with them, but he's at every funeral and he has to watch them pick out, grieve. He's had probably more hurt him or bother or whatever you want to call it him than I have.
You know, with all of the death that I've seen in all of these years, I am desensitized to death in some ways. But when those families come in the door, I am 100% dedicated and focused on every need that they have. You know, for me, being a licensed undertaker is such an honor. I think it's probably one of the most honorable jobs that there are. Because for me, my mother was the most precious human being in my life.
Yeah.
And I was holding her hand when she took her last breath. And I remember how personal that was for me. So I know that if you love your mother as much as I love mine, you're feeling a lot of the same emotions that I have felt in the past. So I can help you through that emotional process. And it may be with laughter. I may laugh with you in the arrangement room. We may cry together. Y'all mentioned the funeral home smell when you came here. And most people think that you're smelling the flowers. The smell that you're actually smelling is probably the formaldehyde smell, the embalming fluid smell. That's really what you're smelling.
That's disgusting. Before y'all head out, y'all want to go see a casket?
Absolutely.
Let's go.
I'm dying to see it.
Yeah.
I can't lie. I feel like
I'll
It's
take
not-
a decent
you can
nap.
You can,
Oh, it's
you can
hard?
push. There's nothing.
Oh, it like rocks.
There's nothing to it. Like you can see how thin it is.
Oh, wow. I mean, it's not,
Nobody's gonna be moving around.
still not too bad.
At least you hope not.
Yeah.
I think the special thing with Jeremy and Shane is that they really helped facilitate a feeling of like peace and ease around the subject of death. And it's comforting to know that they're here to help your families go through the grieving process. So when you go, you're in good hands with these guys. I guess by narrowing down what I think I want for myself at my last moments, it really highlights what's important in life. And that's, you know, family and just the little things that make you happy.
Yeah.
I think the biggest takeaway from today is that, you know, we're all headed to the same cemetery. So it's important to take the scenic route on the way there.
Gotta take the scenic route.
Until next time, stay curious, my friends. Dead curious.
I wanna be free again. I wanna see my old friends laughing in the sun. Devil never stick you down into the hole.
Now that is just me. What's up? What's up, camera?
Missed it.